The next factors that we are going to discuss are personnel. As we were discussing in the case of a middle-aged, mid-40s, middle class South Indian women who want to buy certain products, but who could not buy what she wants, is because she is at a stage, she is at an age wherein she may not buy those products. By natural inclination also, many times we may not buy certain products which doesn't suit our age. But in marketing, there is also another concept linked to the age and also where you are in the family life cycle stage. So, let us understand the concept of age and life cycle. As we all know, everybody has to go through 4 stages as per our tradition in our lifetime. That is the balya, that is childhood, yavana, that is youth, gruhastha, that is marriage life, last is vanaprastha, that is the old age. Though everybody will go through these stages in our life, as a marketer, I am interested in segments or consumers who contribute to my earnings directly. So, I am interested in consumer or consumers who are directly contributing to my earnings, and that is the reason why I will study their behavior. So, as a marketer, understand who are the people and from what stage they can contribute to my earnings directly. Those who are in the balya, kids, will not be buying directly, they are dependent. Even in the youth stage also, till you are in the college or studying, you are dependent on the parents. So, it is they who purchase. So, I am looking at, as a marketer, segments which are of use to me, and I will study their behavior. So, in order to understand that who are my segments, I will start with the stage where a consumer is a young who got just a job, he is single and he is earning. Now, what would be the consumer behavior of this person who is at this life cycle stage? If you imagine yourself when you are just out of the college and you got a job, you are single and started earning, what would be your behavior? Your behavior would be, what are all the things which you could not do or buy or enjoy as a dependent, you will start doing that. So, you will start purchasing what are all the products you could not buy as a dependent. You may be buying good clothing, but not the best brands. So, with your money, you will start buying the best brands with Reebok shoe, Levi's jeans pants, Police eyewear. What are all the bikes or jewelry or accessories which you could not buy, or even if you are buying, you want to best brands which you could not as a dependent. So, you will start buying. So, this is the segment for them, because they are the people who are actually looking, they are the starters into those or initiators into that brand. So, many brands would like to pull them into their fold. So, this is the actual segment which is looking for those kind of brands. Now, the next inevitable. This is though hypothetical, we are having a series of family life cycle stages. Exceptions could be there here and there, some people may be here, some people may be there, or there can be interspersing of some of the life cycle stages. So, the next one is inevitable: young, single, earning and in love. Now, imagine the situation. When a person is single, earning and in love, for the first time, the attention from him has gone to the other person. Till now, he is taking care of himself here. Here, it is shifted. So, the products which people would be buying in love could be gifts, hotels, bikes, places where they can enjoy, or rings, and talking over phone. Precisely by understanding the behavior of this life cycle stage and the consumer behavior there, many telecom companies have launched actually products. So, that is the reason why we have to study the consumer behavior. Those in love would like to talk continuously, particularly even during the nights. So, they have come out with packages which would allow free talk. If there are some telecom companies which have overnight have acquired more than lakhs of people as customers, because they started offering a free night talking package or product. So, that is the advantage of understanding the consumer behavior at each of the family life cycle stage. The third one, now the inevitable: young, married and earning. Sometimes they are also called as honeymooners, because they are young and they are married. Now, if somebody has not gone through this, again the gifting, restaurants, going around in bikes, honeymoon, and what is required for forming a good home, that is furniture. Many companies, particularly consumer durable companies, call themselves as homemakers. So, they have understood that at this family life cycle stage, their behavior is different, the products and services they want are different. So, many construction companies target this segment, and many furniture and consumer durable companies also target, because here they start establishing their home and they want those products. Apart from restaurants, gifts and other honeymoon packages, travel packages, tours, they also would like to settle down. Now, the next family life cycle stage is with small kids. When the small kids are born, now here is the second time when the focus from him to the wife to the kids. So, it gets split. the attention on himself what he used to have in the first stage, now it is shifted between the three, and a new world has established. Now, what are all the kids require? Diapers, milk, creams, soaps, all the things that are required for the small kids are purchased here, and the behavior is taken care. Many times even the medical also is one of the major expenditure here. So, the behavior at this family life cycle stage is different from what a person used to have earlier. Now, with the school going kids, the kids have started growing. So, the attention again will be on the schools, fees, books, uniforms, clothing for them, and the future requirements, investments, insurance, all that medical are part of the spending. So, what he used to spend here or here would vanish. It is mostly on the kids and their upbringing. Now, the next stage is the grown up children or teens. Colleges, fees, their luxuries. Many parents would even stop spending on themselves. Where he used to spend entirely on him, today he will stop on him and would be spending on the luxuries or on the necessities of the kids. Giving them mobile, giving them bike, giving them good education, all that is the major spending. So, the consumer behavior patterns have changed as we move from one family life cycle stage to the other. Now, the next stage is with independent children. The kids would become grown up and they become independent, they would go, or some of them, the daughter might get married. So, his entire expenditure would be on the marriage, particularly in Asian and South Indian context, is the parents' duty and responsibility to marry a child. So, what are all the requirements for the marriage? They start accumulating, or they would be spending all their savings. They would have saved for this and they would be spending on the marriage. Now, the next stage, the children would leave. They would have settled down, they would left, and only the wife and husband are there. Then as good as married and alone. So, again if the children are there, they would again spend money on the going around the world, tours, medical, etc. And many in particularly countries like US, they are as good as young and single, earning and in love or married kind of a situation where they can spend as much as they want, because they would be getting pension or their provident fund they would have got to spend. The next stage is one of the partner has left because of death or whatever reasons, and he is alone as empty nesters. And again, as I was telling earlier, it is as good as single and earning his pension or his savings, and he can spend on worldwide tours and of course on medical and on his enjoyment. So, at each of the stage, we are looking at the family life cycle. The consumer has different behaviors. And understanding this, targeting the correct products and the correct strategies of reaching them would make a marketer successful. So, understanding the age and family life cycle stage is at most important for a marketer to be successful in marketing. Having understood the personal factor, age and life cycle stage, let us understand the next factor, that is occupation. In modern societies, everybody behaves as per his occupation and the profession. Many times it is the occupation and profession which dictates the kind of behavior one should exhibit. Take for example the white collared workers. The white collared workers are those whose work is very simple, who think mostly through their brains and they do not work hard, hence their collars are white. So, the clothing which they wear would definitely be different than the brown or blue collared workers, who would be working very hard and rugged in nature. So, the clothing that a blue collared or a brown collared workers wearing, and also the clothes that are worn by the white collared workers who are sophisticated would definitely be different. So, their purchase behavior in terms of the products, services, brands will be different from those who are in the other category. Even when it comes to the services sector and industry sector or agriculture, those who are toiling in the fields, their behavior, their requirements, their buying would be definitely different from those who are working in the industry. The reason why the cargo pants have emerged is to facilitate the lot of tools that the industrial workers have to carry. So, there are many pockets in the cargos and even the chinos or khakis for that matter, are the result of the people who would be wearing particular type of clothing. Today, if you see, because of the emergence of services sector, the casual wear on the job are accepted. That is why we have seen that some of the professionals wear even smart casuals to the office and meetings. So, the clothing and the behavior of the wearers depends on the occupation. Though there is again another changed feeling that you wear your attitude. Many of the services sector companies, particularly banks, are insisting that at least for most of the formal nature of the work and meetings, you should be or one should be wearing a formal dress, so that that formality will be reflected while dealing with the customers. But whatever, the occupation decides what kind of clothing, what kind of accessories, what kind of behavior one has to exhibit, and the person accordingly purchases. His purchase behavior also will be accordingly. And as we all know, depending upon the occupation, the doctors prefer certain colors, white, lawyers black, engineers, teachers, nurses. There are so many occupations, and accordingly their behaviors and the purchase behaviors would be regulated. Even in terms of colors, if you see, depending upon the profession, the politicians normally prefer white colors. You know the reason, obvious reasons. And even the vehicles which they buy, particularly during elections, are big SUVs to show their bigness. That is the reason why in consumer behavior one has to understand the occupation to understand particular behaviors. Having understood occupation, the major thing that decides whether a consumer would buy or don't buy, or spending how much, when, where, how much, entire thing is dependent on the economic circumstances. The consumer's income or his resources or his savings or his assets all favor his behavior and influence his purchase behavior. His income normally would depend, or the purchase power or spending power would depend on the economic circumstances also. If the entire country is going through recession or joblessness, then we cannot expect a consumer to spend lavishly on clothing, accessories, jewelry, etc. When he cannot spend on necessities, he cannot spend on luxuries. So, the economic circumstances of individual is utmost important in assessing the consumer behavior. The way, when we were discussing about the marriage of your cousin, or somebody wants to buy a particular product, they cannot buy because of the economic circumstances. So, you can spend as much as you earn, and particularly when the economic circumstance, when credit is not available from the banks or at very high interest rates, inflation is there, even then the consumer spending power would come down. Hence, it affects his behavior. So, we have seen even the history of fashion that whenever the wars or the famines happen, when there is a scarcity of resources, even the fashion adopts to the changing economic and the consequent consumer behavior. So, these two factors also play a major role in understanding the consumer behavior.